Hey everyone. Hi, hi, hi. Are you joining my live? I hope so. Welcome to Talk Shop Live and Instagram and YouTube and all the things out there. I thought we'd hang out today with my new memoir. I'm so excited. The Girl Who Became King. Yep, I wrote a book. I wrote another book. I wrote Cook Like a King, which was my cookbook. We got James Beard out of the whole team, but I am also very proud of this book, The Girl Who Became King. If you want to get an autographed copy and be the first person to get this, type in shop right now. If you are on Talk Shop Live or if you are on Instagram, YouTube, there should be a link for you to click to get your autographed copy and be the first one to get this when it comes out October 6th. But I thought we could just hang out. I mean, like, what do you think of the cover? What do you think? Look at the back. We have like my little kid self when this is just like a normal Tuesday hanging out at home. See that? Yeah, it's like little baby Rambo. That's what I was channeling. I was like obsessed with these little red suspenders. And this was just me hanging out at home after school on a normal night and cooking dinner for my family. So I'm just so proud of this book because I wrote every single word in here. I even narrate it on an audiobook, and that's going to be really fun. But it's taking you on the journey of my whole life from cooking in the kitchen for my family since I was 5. And yes, there's Top Chef stories too in that journey, but also stories of me in Michelin kitchens. And then beyond the kitchen, there's a lot more too. I really felt it wasn't, hi everyone, by the way. Wow, it's so fun to see. Yeah, type in the chat here, like let me know where you're coming from. Ask me some questions before we dive into all this. I love being able to see kind of like what's going on and where everyone's from. But thank you for being here. As I was saying, The Girl Who Became King wrote a memoir. Type in shop right now if you want to check it out and be the first one to get a copy and get a signed copy of this book. But as I was mentioning, a lot of the themes of the book, I mean, obviously I'm a chef, and so there's going to be some chef stories, but there also, I just felt it was really important to tell the story of my family because I think, as we all know, generational trauma is real. And so I felt it was really important to dive into stories of my parents and even my grandparents and their journeys coming here, from Shanghai, Hong Kong, and immigrating over, and just all the layers to it all, because you kind of have to understand them in order to understand me and the journey that I go on through my life. And so there is so much fun going on in this book. Coming out stories too. I kind of joke that this book is part The Bear, part The Joy Luck Club, and part like baby queer rom-com. So it's gonna be fun. I'm very pumped. Let's jump on in, ask me some questions. Let's maybe go from there and kind of see like, yeah, what you're all curious to know about what's happening in here, maybe versus, the cookbook.
You have people joining from like Tahoe, North Carolina.
I have people from Tahoe, North Carolina,
Hawaii.
Arizona, Hawaii, New York. Hi, everyone. Let's see here. I can see some of the questions here. I also have my friend Callan here helping out to kind of moderate some questions and bounce them over to me from all platforms, since we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram right now. Let's jump on in.
Frank G from Talk Shop Live is asking, what would you say the writing process was like for this?
Frank G from Talk Shop Live. What was the writing process like for this? Great question. It was so daunting. I wrote a cookbook, and that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my career. But I have to say, writing a memoir, this was by far the hardest thing I've done. I would not consider myself I've never thought I was a writer. I did not write. I did not journal growing up as a kid. I didn't have a diary, none of that. I am very dyslexic, so that was also a challenge for me to write my own book. But we did it. I'm very proud again. But it's such a cathartic experience. I think as I was writing, I was going through all the emotions of my childhood, my relationship with my parents, my mom and my dad, my relationship with my grandparents. All of it is just kind of like deeply woven in here. And I was reliving a lot of that as I was writing. I literally locked myself in my house for like months. I like did not see people. I was writing every day, and some of those stories made it, some did not, and now it is what it is today in this beautiful book, The Girl Who Became King. Again, if you want a signed autograph copy, type shop, or there's a link somewhere on YouTube that you can click to get your signed copy and be the first one to have this. But pub date is October 6th. Again, one of the hardest pages I've ever done.
Is
But
there anything that will shock people?
Is there anything that will shock people in this book? I think so. I think you're going to learn a lot. I think people that know me from Top Chef, and I think you see like 2 seconds of my life. A lot of it's just like the cooking. I think you're going to be shocked with some of the behind the scenes stuff of Top Chef. But beyond Top Chef, you will, I think, I really tried to focus the book more on just my personal life. I think you'll be shocked on a lot of how I was raised. And okay, anyone that's Chinese out there or Asian, or actually any child of immigrants is going to understand a lot of the like challenge and pain and all the ups and downs that go in here with wanting to just like make your family proud, and the expectations that we put upon ourselves and how we can be our hardest critics. And I think a lot of my life I was told I couldn't do it or that you're not enough. And it was this book is this journey of self-worth and finding my self-worth, owning my identity and owning who I am, and just really being proud of that in all the senses, in the kitchen and out of the kitchen. And so I think those stories that you're going to hear about the way I grew up might be a little surprising.
Chandra's wondering how many pages is the memoir and how long did it take you to write this book compared to the cookbook?
Sean or
Chandra.
Chandra, hi. Great question. How many? Okay, let's see here. This book is about 300, I think 320 pages. I wrote probably 500 and I had to really condense and things get chopped out and cut out from the book, which was like broke my heart, and I'm hoping to kind of release those in other ways. Maybe I should start a Substack. Great idea. But it was 300. You're really putting your whole life story and all these years and other people's lives, stories of like, again, my family members, in a 300-page book. So that I think was a challenge. But hopefully you're excited by what you read.
Jason's wondering, did you have to call and let anyone know that you're writing about them?
Jason, did I have to call anyone and let them know that I was writing about them? No, I didn't tell anybody. Just kidding. Yes, of course. I think I really tried to keep in mind that this book is so deeply personal. It is extremely vulnerable to write a memoir. And, I'm not just writing the story of my life. I'm writing the story of my sister, my mom, my dad, my past girlfriends. There is so many layers and like people that are in this book that have affected my life in good and bad ways and all the ways. But I wanted to really write it and be mindful of them and their emotions and how much that may affect them. And so I tried to really write it from a lens of empathy and hold a lot of space for all of us. And, this is our past, but the future is like beautiful. And yeah, I think that's also what was really difficult about writing a memoir, is like you are juggling everyone's emotions, not just your own, and being mindful of that.
Maria is asking, how did you decide what to use as the cover?
Maria, how did I decide on what to use as the cover? Okay, everyone, what do you think of the cover? How do we like it? I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think so. My designer and photographer, Ashley Batts, she did a beautiful job on the photography, and then Eniki Pena, he designed the book cover itself. But I think he saw what he saw, and so what he saw was, I think, you kind of see someone who's really owning themselves and being proud of who they are, and in a way unapologetic of who they are. And the back is like this little vulnerable, this is literally my childhood photo, and can you see that? I'm about 7, I think, here. And this child, I think, was so sure and so confident in who she is. And yet the world, I don't think, fully saw her or allowed her to be who she wanted to be until here. You see that. So I wanted that to kind of be the sentiment behind the cover. And it almost kind of looks like I have a crown on, like there's a lot of layers to The Girl Who Became King and the title itself. And I think, again, it's someone that's owning themselves. And, as my last name, Melissa King, I was like, I have to own all of it. And there was so much in my family being raised Shanghainese, Cantonese American, having very traditional, coming from a culture that really valued men over women. And that was something that I grew up with, where women were kind of just seen as people that just go and have the babies, and you build a family, but you don't carry the king last name because you're a girl and you're a woman, and the men carry the last name. And so I wanted The Girl Who Became King, to be really that significance of me carrying and being proud of where I come from, who I am, and all the layers to me.
Would you say that food was the key to finding yourself? It's a question from Dan R.
Dan R., the question was if food was the key to finding myself. Absolutely. Food has always been the thread to my life. It's the spine of the book in a lot of ways. So you'll find stories of me traveling, backpacking other parts of the world, and exploring who I am through food. And it even translates in my cooking. I think, I don't know. Food to me is so nostalgic, and I think when I create dishes, I always want to transport people back to that time period. That's always a goal of mine. And I think the people that have any of you that have watched Top Chef, you kind of see that happen through a lot of the dishes I create there. And even in the book, Cook Like a King, my cookbook, I think you see just a lot of childhood dishes kind of brought back to life and modernized. And so, yeah, you will definitely experience, well, if you love food, you're gonna have fun with this book too. But again, this book is for everyone. There is so much just heart, soul, culture, the clashing of two worlds, being Chinese and being American, but not being enough of either, and always kind of feeling caught between worlds. Even me as a queer chef and being a woman in a kitchen, there's a lot of those stories threaded throughout The Girl Who Became King. And so comment shop right now if you want to get a signed copy of the book, and it comes out October 6th. We're doing a whole book tour. All that, I'll be announcing that probably next week, so keep an eye out on my Instagram, and you'll get the dates to that, and you'll kind of see what parts of America I'm going to.
You have a couple people asking if they'll be available internationally.
Ooh, my international friends. Hi, everyone. Where are you coming from? Let's see. So there's some people asking whether or not this will be available internationally. So, I mean, I think if we do well here in America, which I hope everyone helps tell everyone about this book, I think it will probably, I would hope that it gets sent overseas as well. But that's up to the publishers and all that. But great question. We have people coming from the Philippines, Australia, Las Vegas. So cool.
XB
Canada.
I Heart You from Instagram is wondering how long it took you to write the book.
XV, what is it?
XB I Heart You.
XB I Heart You from Instagram. Hi, cool handle. You're asking how long it took me to write this book. Start to finish, proposal, crying, emotions, all that. 6 years. Yeah. Again, a lot of love, a lot of tears, everything kind of went into this. It might be why I might have disappeared for a little bit off the face of the earth, but I am just so proud of it. It didn't feel right to have a ghostwriter or anything like that. I really felt it was important to tell my own story and to maintain that authenticity. And I think you'll even see like my sense of humor throughout the book. But I really wanted to take my time with it and to tell my story, right? And so it took 6 years. But I was also writing a cookbook, so that took a couple of those years as well. But I was juggling both books simultaneously. So it's pretty tough. Yeah, Sacramento. Hey, Brazil. Cool. Bonjour, Carol. Fun fact, one of my first girlfriends was Brazilian. Yep, she's in here. Again, there's a lot of fun stories that you're not going to know about me that I want you to embrace this. You're going to see a whole other side to me beyond the kitchen, beyond the food, but you'll really just kind of know me more as a person and the life that I've lived.
Scoop Hale is wondering what would be your dream book club hang
Scoop Hale?
from Instagram.
Scoop Hale from Instagram. What would be my ideal book hang? Book club hang. Okay. Book club hang. I think you need to get both my books. You get Cook Like a King, you pick up The Girl Who Became King, and then you cook a couple recipes from Cook Like a King. And the ones I would suggest are the Shanghainese lionhead meatballs, which I'll teach you about the significance of that in this book. That was my grandmother's dish. And it's the only thing my father knows how to make. And I say that in my cookbook, but you'll kind of learn the deeper layers to why that recipe is so important to me. But you should also make Mama Mel's meatballs because that's the recipe I make for probably all the ex-girlfriends now that are hanging out in this book. They know Mama Mel's meatballs. I don't know. It's a fun, just cozy dish that is great for a book club hang. And then you guys can all talk about all the gossipy things happening in here.
A couple people are asking, when did you start cooking and when did you know you wanted to be a chef?
A couple of y'all are asking, when did I start cooking and how did I know I wanted to be a chef? So I have wanted to be a chef since I was 5. I was just one of those lucky people that always knew at a young age what I wanted to do with my life. I just felt so strongly that I was like born to cook. And a lot of it came out of just the necessity to like feed my family. Both my parents were working parents and someone kind of had to put food on the table. So that became me. But I found that food brought people, I knew at an early age that food could connect people and could bring my family to the table. And it was something that made me feel really proud and just like, yeah, it lit me up. And it's been the thing that I never gave up on. And there were moments I might have tried to give up, and you'll hear it in here. And the girl who became king. So again, yeah, if you want to pick up autograph signed copy type shop in your little chat bar here, or check out the link at the top, and you will be able to get sign up for an autograph copy and be the first one to get that.
Kelly is wondering, to what point in your life does the book cover?
Ooh, Kelly, so you're asking at what point of my life does this book cover? It covers everything to about maybe 2 years ago. Yeah. Because I finished technically writing this book a year ago, and it takes like a whole year to go to publication, which people don't realize how much time it takes to write a book. But I would say it covers a good amount of my life and starts when I'm 5, cooking at home with my family. Yeah. Let's see here.
Fiona Laughlin is wondering, were there any, or what inspired your writing process?
Fiona Laughlin, you're asking what inspired my writing process. Man, a lot of therapy. I was like, had my thank you to my therapist out there for just like literally keeping me mentally in check throughout this whole process, because again it was so cathartic, and so it was like doing therapy for like 6 years writing this book. But a lot of it was just I felt it was important to tell certain stories about the layers to who I am. And again, it's like things like being the only woman in a kitchen in a very male testosterone industry, and like Michelin kitchens and what that was like, but also stories of coming out and feeling kind of trapped in a lot of things. I grew up very Christian. That's a surprise that I don't think a lot of people know, but like I think you'll kind of see the struggles that I go through to come out to my family. And my family's very traditional Chinese, gotta like gotta what's the word? You gotta pay you have to make your family proud. And that was like something I always held and wanted to do badly. And I struggle a lot with coming out in the first like 2 decades of my life, and so you will learn a lot about that. But I just felt it was important to tell these stories so that people out there, all of you, a part of you, maybe walk away feeling a little less alone in your journey. And I think for me, if someone can pick up The Girl Who Became King, read a story and feel a little bit of connection, then I would feel really happy and proud of this book. So yeah, type in shop. Somebody's ringing it. Someone's at my doorbell. Someone's ringing the doorbell. But type in shop into your little chat bar here, and a little link's gonna pop up to get a signed copy of The Girl Who Became King.
What's a story that didn't make it?
What's a story that didn't make the book? Oh, that's a good question. Um, it's so hard because I've been so deep in this book for so long that half the stuff I'm like, yeah, I totally wrote that. And then I'll like read it again and be like, oh, that got cut. Let me think here. There's some stories of, I think at a certain point I was getting almost too deep into like my family's memoir, like that needed to be its own book. And so we had to kind of condense a bit of like my grandma's life. Who my grandma had a really like fascinating, she was a hopeless romantic. That's where I get it from as well. But she had many like loves in her life. And I found that to be really inspiring. And I remember writing about that. And then they were like, we got to cut this. Like too much about grandma, which I love my grandma. And you're going to also learn about her in this book, and just the significance of that period of time of like taking care of her, and where I was in my journey. Let's see here.
How did your family react to reading it? Have they read it?
How did my family react to reading this? Some have read it. Yes. My mother has read this. She read it in a day and a half and she couldn't put it down. She loved it. As you know, Proud Mom Alice. Some of you know her as Proud Mom Alice, and she is my biggest cheerleader and she loved the book. She cried. My sister's reading it right now. She also cried and has been really enjoying it. My father's going to read it soon. So I think there's a lot of great feedback and love coming all around.
Scoop Hale from Instagram is wondering, are you doing anything at Outside Lands this year?
Scoop Hale on Instagram. Am I doing anything at Outside Lands? Yes, I will be cooking at the Golden Gate VIP Lounge Saturday. And I'll be hanging around Friday and Sunday. I'm cooking on Sunday, and I will be hanging out around the festival Friday and Saturday. So if you see me, say hello. I'm ready to eat my way through that festival.
What is the significance behind the title?
The significance behind the title, The Girl Who Became King. As you know, both my books, we have Cook Like a King, which is my cookbook, and there's a lot of significance to that. And I wanted people to kind of like cook like me and like own their food and understand how to think like me through food with that book. With this book, The Girl Who Became King, there's so many layers to it. As I mentioned earlier, I grew up with a very traditional Shanghainese Cantonese family, and there was just a lot of cultural pressures to make the family proud. And I think for a long time, I felt I had to pursue everyone in my family is in the medical world. And I think for a long time, I felt I had to pursue that. And so there's the struggle of like making the family proud, carrying on the King family name. And I grew up in a family that valued kind of men before women. Yeah. So traditional Chinese in that sense, where like the men bring honor and they carry the family last name, and the woman is like, you stay at home and be a housewife and you have the babies. And so like that was kind of the family I came from. And so I think you're going to learn a lot about me and the King family. And by the end of the book, I think you'll understand really why this is called The Girl Who Became King, because it's like someone that's really owning who they are unapologetically and reclaiming a lot of that name for themselves.
Did you read any memoirs in preparing to write?
Did I read any memoirs in preparing to write?
Any favorites?
I've read a few memoirs, but I think when I started writing, I wanted to not have that affect me too much. It's the same even when I'm cooking. Like when I did Top Chef, I was like, I'm not going to worry too much about what everyone else is doing. I'm just going to like hone in and focus on me and what I want to write. And so that's what I did with this book. But the books that really resonated with me were like Crying in H Mart. Padma's memoir as well was, I don't know that one, but it's quite harrowing. And there was like certain parts that I was crying through. Kwame Onwuachi, these are all, top chefers, but like I feel like Kwame did a really beautiful job with his book and telling the story from the lens of being a Black chef in America. And so those were people that, wrote books that I admired. And for my own, I just really wanted to just put my head down and tell my story. And so that's kind of what I did.
IQE from Instagram is wondering, will you be doing a signing of the book or pop-ups at restaurants?
IQE, will I be doing a signing? I will be. Yeah. So I'm announcing a book tour I'm announcing it probably next week. We are touring around different parts of America. And so keep an eye out on my Instagram. You'll see that. And I will be doing signings. And also some of them will be moderated talks with just special friends coming in to moderate and do a little Q&A banter. and sort of things like this, just like really diving a lot deeper into the stories that are going on in The Girl Who Became King.
Are there any Top Chef stories in this book?
Are there Top Chef stories? Of course, there's Top Chef stories. I couldn't leave that out, you know. I think Top Chef was such a big catalyst in my life, and it was really an experience that I'm so grateful for. And I think whether you watched it or not, like if you literally have no idea who I am and you read this book, I still think you would very much enjoy it. So yeah, there's a little Top Chef in here, but I wouldn't say the whole thing is. There's like so much more of my personal life is in this book, and my family.
We have some people wondering, are you opening up a restaurant?
People wondering, am I opening up a restaurant? I would love to. I think I was so deep in this for the past 6 years that this became my this and my cookbook, Cook Like a King, became my restaurant babies. But now that this is off my brain, hell yeah, let's do it. Someone find me a spot. Let's make it happen. Yeah, I think like I would really, it's one of the many goals of my life that I still would love to check. Yeah.
What
Um,
what are the common themes people will find throughout the book?
what are the common themes people will find throughout the book? Great question. You will find themes of finding your self-worth, owning and embracing your identity. And it's mainly my identity as a queer Asian woman, child of immigrants, um, woman in a kitchen. I don't know if I said that already, but there's just so much to like, so many layers to who I am. And I feel like that, I think you're going to find those themes throughout the dualities of like maybe not feeling you fit in or feeling different. And I think anyone that picks up this book that has ever felt different, I hope that you're not alone in your journey and that you feel connected to someone and that there is someone out there that understands you. Um, at least that's the goal I was hoping for with the stories that I have in here about myself and my own life. So yeah, it's gonna be really fun. What others? What other little themes are there?
I got a question. Did coming out affect your relationship to food and cooking?
Did coming out affect my relationship to food and cooking? Certainly. I think as artists, you can hold back a lot in so many ways unconsciously. And I think I held back a lot of myself during those years when I was still closeted. I didn't fully know myself enough yet. And I think now, as a fast forward to today, and the girl who actually became king, I think this kid didn't fully like know who she was or was still figuring it out. And then this person today, I think I really have embraced all that and proud of who I am. And so that translates a lot even in my cooking. I find anyone in the creative world, whether you're a musician, dancer, a painter, any artist. For me, it happens to be cooking. Food is my medium, but it's like it's still so deeply emotional. And I think that's where you see the breakthroughs happen when you start to really like embrace all of you. Yeah.
Mary is wondering, what advice do you have for people starting a career in the culinary world?
Mary, I think you're asking what advice I have for people starting their careers in the culinary world. Um, Honestly, there's a lot of advice in this book kind of woven through. So The Girl Who Became King, I think you're going to find some of even the advice my mentors taught me. A lot of the kitchens I've worked in, the mentors I learned from through life are woven through this book, through this memoir. But I would say, just off the bat, find a person you look up to and like study under them. Also, you don't have to go to culinary school. People always say, "Do you need to go to culinary school?" I'm like, no. I mean, culinary school is expensive. If you have money, if you have the means to go for it, and you're going to learn, you know, really, you're going to have a really solid foundation in your cooking. But I think um, you can be a chef without that, and a lot has to do with your grit and your passion and your just sort of dedication to the craft. And that's kind of all it is like you have to have the heart and the passion to want to keep learning. And I hope when you read this book, you kind of like see a lot of those layers through it. Because there were many moments I wanted to give up being a chef and I get burnout, and I kind of start to doubt myself and doubt my choices. And you're gonna feel all the doubts and the anxiety like through this. I really wanted the readers to be in the stories with me, and so I wrote it from that lens. But again, for anyone that's joining, if you want to pick up an autographed copy of The Girl Who Became King, my upcoming memoir coming out October 6th, type in shop in the comments and you're going to be able to get that, buy one for yourself, get one for your mom, your friends for the holidays. Again, tell everyone, spread the word. It is really important for new writers to just have the support of all of you out there. And so I just want to say thank you for supporting Cook Like a King, the cookbook, joining the live today and listening, more about what this memoir is all about. And yeah, again, I'm really proud of it. Labor of love. I don't know if I'm ever gonna write another book again, guys. It really like took so much out of me. But I don't know. Apparently people say it's like having a baby. It's like you just forget and then you go and write another book. So we'll see. But I put a lot of myself in this. And so I hope you feel that through the stories. There's also an audiobook, so check that out. Save it on Spotify. That is also going to be available. But my advice, I keep telling people, I'm like, you can do the audio and you're going to really hear like the inflections of my voice, the way I tell the story, but also get the written because I wrote it a certain way. Even the way I spell certain words, it's like very intentional. And I, again, wanted you to kind of feel like you're in the anxiety and the emotions of what I'm experiencing at these different periods of my life. So get both books.
We have a couple more great questions.
Let's get some more questions here.
Amber from Instagram is wondering which memory was the most challenging or the most freeing to revisit in writing.
Amber, good question. Amber from Instagram, I think you're asking what was the like most freeing story or most difficult story to write? Man, the coming out stories. I think, there's just again so many layers to that. And even when I look back on it today, I'm like, wow, that was like a completely different person than the person you all may know today. I was deeply shy, deeply just painfully shy. And I still am very introverted. It's a secret introvert. But I think I put a lot of everyone else before myself. And I think the person as you read these pages and go through the evolution and timeline of my life, you start to really see someone that's just like, you know what? I'm gonna just be me and I'm gonna just like put it out there and tell you who it is or to tell you who I am. And I'm not gonna be as afraid anymore. But I hid behind fear a lot. And so I think the coming out stories were tough to write. And which other one? The kitchen stories. All the kitchen stories gave me a lot of anxiety to write because I was like, felt like I was like in the bear, and like those moments of being, toxic kitchen culture is woven through this book because I lived in a lot of Michelin kitchens where there was cussing, belittling, all that. But you also see the flip side and the good parts. Um, yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff.
A couple people are wanting to know information about your book tour. When are you going to release that? Where are you going?
So if you're just joining, if you want to grab the book, type in shop, SHOP, shop in your little chat bar here. And or there's a little link if you're on YouTube, but you can get an autographed copy of this book. We are also going on a book tour. The book comes out October 6th. So that's going to be the first day of book tour. It starts in New York, and I'll be making my way to California. I'm releasing the book tour dates next week. So keep an eye out on my Instagram. You'll be able to sign up for whichever location I'm at and buy tickets to each event. Some are book signings, and others are kind of Q&A like this with moderator friends. Different friends are going to be popping up in different cities. Some you may know, some you might get excited about me having a little conversation with. So check it out. Come by, bring your books, and I will make sure you get your signed copy.
If you have one more question.
I think I have time for one more question here.
Was it weird narrating your own words as an audiobook?
Was it weird narrating my own audiobook? It's hard. I think it was very challenging for me to narrate my own book because I am dyslexic and I have difficulty reading out loud. I have a lot of anxiety around it. I don't like teleprompters. Having to read and narrate even stuff I wrote myself, which I know all the words in this, I know every single word in this book, but to actually say it out loud with the right, I had to really put myself back into those scenes to narrate it in a way that I wanted to convey the story. So that was quite challenging. But it was also really fun. Like, I felt really proud of being the one to narrate my book. I didn't want it to be some weird AI voice. I was like, this is not going to be right. And I think because I wrote every single word, I just wanted it, I had to narrate my own. I was like, there's no other way. I want you to know me. I want you to see me. I want you to feel and understand everything that's going on in this book. And so I had to narrate it myself. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun listening to that and reading along. So definitely pick up the book, type in shop, and get your copy of The Girl Who Became King. And it's going to be an autographed copy with a little book plate signed by me. But let's see here. I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking here. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. I'm looking at the little sidebar. Thank you everyone for joining. Yes, I will be in San Francisco for the book tour, New York. I think there's Boston. Go Boston. A couple other spots. Seattle, I think we're going to. But yeah, you'll see next week The Girl Who Became King. You'll learn all about it. And the book tour is going to get announced next week. Book comes out October 6th. Pre-order now. Type in shop, get your books, get your signed copies, show up with it. We'll take pictures together. We'll laugh, we'll cry. And again, I just wanted to say thank you all for hanging out with me today. But I'm wishing you all the best and have a great day. Thanks, everyone. Yay. Let's see how to exit this. But thanks, everyone. Bye. Get your books. Check out the little kid on the back. That's me. Oh.